Holly Larson, welcome back to the Dietitian Career Success. I am so excited you are here because literally this is my favorite time of year besides like my birthday, but to talk about trends for all of us dietitians. How are you today, Holly?
I'm so well. Thank you so much for asking and thanks for having me. I love our annual meeting to talk about trends.
We've been doing this for a few years. We've got a fabulous blog post. We'll show you what that looks like. All right, everybody, we're going to talk about trends as it relates to jobs, of course. And I've got the fabulous Holly Larson. She's a fabulous copywriter. She will ghostwrite for you. She will include her byline for you as a writer, as a copywriter. And she's just really talented in that area. And she's also has a writing course for dietitians and healthcare professionals. Holly, can you tell us a little bit about that too?
Yes, I think a lot of us dietitians can agree that writing in a way that helps us to connect with the people we're here to help was not included in our nutrition training. We were taught to write in a very sciencey way, and that does not a business make. And it's a common misconception that in the dawn of AI, that learning to write isn't important. It's still important. It's not either or. I think we can use AI to speed up our writing. But if you don't know the basics and you don't know the nuts and bolts of how to be an effective writer, the AI is just going to help you make bad writing more quickly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, for anyone who is creating content, whether in their job as an employee or in their own business as an entrepreneur, the way that we communicate with the people we are helping or are trying to help really matters. So, I'm going to have a coupon code for anyone watching this on my writing course if you'd like to join. It's self-paced, but with a community support group and live workshops each month. And the code, because we're talking trends today, the code is Trends 2026, and it will save you half on the course.
Holly, thank you so much. That's very generous. And for all of you listeners, it's incredibly powerful, helpful. It's, as you can hear, Holly's voice is like nice and easy and calm, and it takes any anxiety out of the process of writing. And she shows you how to do that, walks you through it all step by step. And she's got some great examples and really get you going. And I like the idea that you've got both the coupon code. Thank you so much for all of us listeners, but also that you have this group where people can chime in and talk about what they're working on specifically. So you do get some individual coaching with that too. Thank you, Holly. That's awesome. All right. So the other thing that Holly didn't mention is that she is a awesome researcher. She's really good at following what trends are out there because that relates to writing. And so she's very, very helpful, which is why I always get her on board to help us with Nutrition Jobs. And just a little blurb about what I've got for you guys. You guys may or may not know this, but I run Nutrition Jobs and exercisejobs.com. A fabulous database of jobs and also dietitian salaries, which is an anonymous salary tool that's out there that you can check and see what jobs are out there and what they are paying. So every year we do this fun process, this exercise of understanding what the trends are with jobs. We keep a single blog post that you can check out, and it's a running tally of all the years, and you can see how our trends sort of worked out over the decade. I think, how many times have we done this? We've done it a long time, maybe not 10 years, but a long time. I get a lot of content from looking at the Future of Jobs report that comes from the World Economic Forum. They did not make one for 2026. I don't know, maybe because it was a little more chaotic this year, but they have a project that goes to outlooking through 2030. So a lot of what we were talking about that you'll hear from us here will be coming from that, but also some of the research that Holly does. So let's start off with Holly's first item. I'm going to move us over here. Holly, tell us about the number one trend as it relates to jobs is the battle against nutrition information. Tell us a little bit about that.
I wouldn't even say that the battle against misinformation is new. This has been forever, but the abundance and plethora and grip that misinformation has on our field is something that has many dietitians exhausted. So being able to communicate in a way that can be heard is a challenge. But a lot of dietitians are in the trenches with sharing thoughtful, evidence-based information in many roles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really valuable one. So I just think it's opportunity, right? Like you can look at the evolution of science in the eyes of the consumer is an opportunity and ways to get involved. I think if anything, it's elevating the level of the dietitian and the opportunities that can come our way. Anything else you want to add about that?
No,
Okay,
that's good.
we're all done with that. Okay. Oh, we did have some information here. Let me move her over again too. Yeah. Working with brands. I thought this was a really great idea of how to again have our knowledge, our authority out there as dietitians and looking for job opportunities and career opportunities there as well. So that's really good. All right, tell us about this fibermaxing, the new gut health frontier.
Fibermaxing, like the good millennial that I am, I'm not on TikTok. So I heard about this a few weeks later on Instagram. And I am used to being skeptical of new nutrition trends because so many of them are harmful and problematic. So, how exciting to have a trend that is helpful. And although the name is maxing, which might imply as much fiber as possible, the trend is actually just to meet your fiber recommendation, which we dietitians might know only 5% of us on average are doing. And so the fiber maxing trend is about eating more plants, more fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds. And your clients might be talking about or asking questions about it. And this is a great opportunity to talk about real and whole foods, what's accessible, what do you like, and all of the many benefits of fiber. It's not just about bathroom stuff.
Yeah, I love that, right? Because I think it relates to a generation wanting more cognitive information, cognitive help in that direction, and how maybe short chain fatty acids might be of benefit there. But also, again, not just bathroom talk, right? Like there's a lot of other benefits to that. But also just like how, drinking enough water, like how can you feel better after having fiber? Or there's different types of fiber and they can feel different or they can be consumed differently too. So again, opportunity for us. All right. This is one of my favorite ones because I love collagen. So beauty from within and collagen. Talk to us about this.
So, one of the sound bites about collagen is eat your skincare. um, which kind of made me giggle. But there are some benefits of having collagen there. Sometimes it is spoken about in a way of that is more clickbaity and unicorn-like. But collagen is a tool in the toolbox to help support the look, feel, texture, moisture of your skin, as well as blood sugar balance in the morning and joint health support and having a little boost of protein. There are different benefits from different kinds of collagen, but collagen is the most abundant protein in our body. And more people are interested in having this as a supplement. So, as dietitians, we can be looking at what kinds of collagen are most helpful for our client. Does a vegan collagen exist? No. Um, and what is the right dose to help guide clients around things like, is having a collagen gummy with 1 gram of collagen, is that enough to move the needle for their goal? Probably not. Just things like that.
I love that, right? And like how to spend their money, that 1 gram. I know my daughter, I have a 15-year-old daughter in high school, and all of her classmates are very much interested in this trend of beauty from within, are very much interested in any gummies as well. Gummies off the shelf. They love like chewable vitamin C. That's a gummy. They love the collagen and or with biotin. And there's just not that much in there for the price. It's very expensive. So I think as dietitians, we can see this as an opportunity where we can help educate our clients, or also on social media, being able to share the word about that and how it can also help not just for the skin, but how it can help with gut health, especially if someone's recovering from IBS or SIBO. Like having that collagen can be really helpful too. So I love this trend. I personally consume collagen most mornings, and so I think I loved this one. I like it.
Me too.
We were talking about like where some of these health trends are coming from, and this was a great place to identify some of the foods. And I think I'm trying to remember why we put this one in here. Do you remember what was sort of stand out about this one?
What I like is that we're talking more about nutrition by addition and slowly but surely letting go of the fad diet mindset of restriction, restriction, restriction. And how can we white knuckle it through a day with as few calories or as few points or as few exchanges as possible? But rather, how can we have a kinder approach to our health and nutrition? How can we look at what can we add to what we already like so that we can cultivate health and wellness in a way that feels better and is more sustainable?
I like this one too, also because having the focus be on adding foods to our diet feels much more abundant versus the penalty of subtracting foods. Oh, you're eating too much of this or too much of that. You need to subtract that from your diet, like limit that, avoid that, right? That feels like it can easily move into the direction of having a bad relationship with food or food ingredients. So I like this one too, just like you did too. And I also like that physical activity was right up there too. And we can also layer in our nutrition knowledge as supporting physical activity too. So awesome, awesome. The next one, oh, I love this one. Talk to us about strength training and bone density support.
Important for all of us. And we are still working to empower women to strength train and to strength train with more than a pink 2-pound dumbbell, or to feel comfortable going to the gym or feeling welcome to go to the gym and lifting weights and getting off the elliptical. But I think we're making a lot of progress. And it is becoming more common knowledge of just how important strength training is, not just for aesthetics, which that helps. No one's mad about that. Um, but also things like better quality of sleep, a higher metabolism, and bone density support. So I love that perimenopause and menopause are part of much more regular conversation. It's not the thing that we don't talk about. We should talk about it, and we are. And strength training is so important for protecting bone health, protecting heart health, and helping to manage symptoms.
Yeah, I love this one. As you know, I am a dietitian, but I don't really work in direct patient care anymore. I run the job board, but a lot of my friends are like, okay, Stacey, I'm lifting weights now. So, how do I get enough calcium? Am I getting enough calcium? Like, and how much protein? How much protein do I need? Right? I love it. And again, it's just an opportunity for dietitians, instead of like making fun of my friends, right, is to like meet them with what they need. And in my case, I direct them on to my other dietitian friends who do direct patient care. But it's such a great opportunity. They want us. Let's meet them with where they're at and what they want from us too. I love this.
Yes.
Okay, this was one of my favorites. So backstory on this, on the cabbage comeback, Holly added this one to the trends, and I was like, cabbage, really? Interesting. And then in my Instagram feed came this from Vogue Beauty. Okay, they know, right? 2026 is the year of the cabbage. What? Tell us more about this.
So when I write this post for you every year, Stacey, I'm looking at a lot of different resources to see who's talking about what. And this one, I have seen some more recipes about cabbage. One, because it's a very affordable vegetable and that the cost of groceries is high on a lot of people's minds. It stores well, so it's not like those precious spring greens that are good for about 27 minutes in your fridge. And Pinterest was the source I was looking at on trends saying cabbage is here. Pinterest is noticing a lot of aesthetics of cabbage, like dishes that look like cabbage leaves that are really beautiful, but then just lots and lots of cabbage recipes. And this is helpful. I already mentioned the cost. It's a very affordable vegetable. It's a sulfur heavy compound, so it supports people's detoxification pathways, which is lovely. And it is also really wonderful because it's a good contender for meal prep. So if you're making salads or dense bean salads or things like that on the weekend to eat throughout the week, the cabbage stays crisp and crunchy and lets you eat a nourishing meal many times after only prepping one time. And last but not least, cabbage is delicious fermented, and we're getting a lot more hip to fermented foods and the benefits of eating fermented foods. and cabbage is a great contender for there.
I love this one because I'm a huge fan of sauerkraut. I have a little scoop of sauerkraut all the time. But you're right, like for salads, I love that a lot of teens are into it. Like as I mentioned, that the one teenager, she's very much into cabbage and how can we get more cabbage into our lives. Really likes it. But again, like you had mentioned, having it in a salad, it has like such longevity that it allows for people to make more meals at home because you do it once and it's available for a few days out in the week. So I like this one too. Moving on. Okay, let's go into the um, out of the field and into the office and talk a little bit about growth and stability for our jobs as dietitians. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know I have a lot of thoughts, but I'll let you go first.
I think this one is for you to take the mic away.
Yeah, so I think that this is still trending upwards. I think dietitians and dietitian nutritionists are still very much in demand. And if you look at what the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows, they have a lot of information about what the projected growth is and the outlook up through 2034 is showing it's a 6% increase, which is faster than average. And I think nursing is in the same ballpark or maybe 1% less. So we are, even though it feels like you're hearing a lot about how dietitians are going to be replaced by AI, that is not necessarily the truth in all sectors. And remember that AI works for us. And so we have a lot of options for how we can control and help AI do some of the sort of the busy work of the work that we do, whether it's in a hospital, working with your IT department, with reimbursements. There's or looking at diagnoses using your electronic medical record, your like Echo or whichever one your hospital uses. There's options, there's opportunities, and there's a lot to be looking forward to in the field of dietetics. And so I know personally, I read a lot on Reddit where people are running around, feeling really anxious, running around on the app, feeling anxious about that there are no jobs, the jobs are going away. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to have to all be nurses. And I just feel like we need to slow that down and let people know that that's not the case right now. Yes, our jobs can be evolving. That's nature. That is the evolution. We went with zero internet to now with AI. So there's always going to be technological changes that we need to adapt to, that we need to be able to enter into the mindset of, hey, here's what's coming. Here's all the benefits. Here's where we're going to have some opportunities, and this is where we need to move into. Just so you know, on Nutrition Jobs, I just did a screenshot of all the jobs that are on there right now, 945 jobs. This was maybe a week ago when I did the presentation. Today, when I looked for the newsletter, it was like over 1,000 jobs. So my point is that there's a lot of jobs. They may not all be in your town, but there are a lot of jobs, and to know that there's just so many new opportunities that are out there as well, that you can have that sense of that peace of mind, knowing that there are jobs for you out there. So speaking of jobs and speaking of medical nutrition therapy and malnutrition, along with some other diseases that are able to be reimbursed, can you tell us a little bit about advocacy for medical nutrition therapy on a congressional level?
Yes. I have a huge interest in learning about financial trends for dietitians. I've hosted the Dietitian Money Conference twice. That's another kind of pet project of mine. And Stacey, you spoke twice, which was really wonderful. Dietitians have been playing catch up with our salaries since the 1950s. And the reason for this is that when our first national healthcare program came out, Medicare, dietitians were not a covered service. So in hospitals and healthcare settings, dietitians were positioned as an expense versus roles like doctors or nurses that they could expect reimbursement for their care. So since the 1950s, there has been gobs and gobs of advocacy to show that, of course, what we already believe, that our work matters. It improves healthcare outcomes and it saves money long term. Mm-hmm. Healthier people are less of a burden on our medical care system. So the first things that were covered with Medicare, where diabetes and kidney disease, commercial payers tend to follow suit. And then the Affordable Care Act made preventative services for dietitians much more covered by most insurance plans. And then COVID helped us to get telehealth covered. And so this is the next leg to get more medical services. So our voice matters. We do need to reach out to our representatives and say, I'm a dietitian. This work is important. It helps our community to be healthier. It helps us to have a more affordable healthcare system. So they need to hear from us so that this bill can pass.
Holly, that was a fabulous explanation that I feel like all of us should be able to roll off our tongue just like you did to describe it and to help us move forward on this. I think that's so we're still in the hearing from the community status. You can see here is a screenshot on congress.gov for this specific act. And you can see here on the progress bar that we're just at this phase. And so it has not yet passed the House. So talking to your Congress people, the House of Representatives people, that's what she's referring to, where we can have those conversations and make sure they understand the financial impact and as you mentioned, the community impact as well. So thank you for that really concrete, descriptive explanation of why it is we need to get paid more. All right, the last one. So thank you for that, Holly. The last one is this one specifically to employers. I'm talking to you guys now. Job seekers want all the details in the job description, right? So I listen to a lot of HR podcasts and go to a conference with HR leaders talking about applicant tracking systems. And it still comes down to how are you sourcing the candidate and what are the best practices for sourcing that candidate and having a great relationship with them, whether you are having an ad for that you're going to receive, 5 resumes for or 5,000 resumes for. It still comes down to being very descriptive in the job description. And I think this speaks to the idea that in that job description, you can help filter out people that are not qualified, and you can also attract people who are qualified for that position. The more you can put in there, the better. And I think it's also sort of generational. Gen X and Gen Alpha, like they want a lot of information. They want a lot of data. They want a lot of information from you as the employer so that they can make a really good decision. And that decision might even be just applying for the position. So I did a poll on LinkedIn a little while ago, and I asked them, job seekers, what job description elements make a posting attractive to you? And I put in compensation plus company details, or like a whole bunch of stuff, job details, company details, compensation. They wanted it all, like overwhelmingly. Like I just like stopped the poll because it was just overwhelming. People wanted to know, and spill it in the comments. People talked about wanting to see that salary range. They don't care if it's not the exact salary, but they want to know, is this position offering $30 an hour or $50 an hour? Because if it's $30 an hour, we're not applying. That just helps everybody, saves everybody time. And if you're not getting applicants for that $30 an hour position, that maybe there's some other way to sweeten the pot, depending on what is in your capability and what's in the company's budget, depending on how big the company is too. That is all to say that there are ways to attract candidates for all this wonderful 6% job growth that's happening. And a lot of it is being able to communicate a lot of information to the employers. I know recruiters are super busy. I know you're super, super busy, but it takes like a couple extra minutes maybe to put a bunch of stuff in job postings that you know that the job seeker is going to be interested in. Talk about your facility. Talk about the geography, the location of where that's at. Talk about what their coworkers might be like. You work with a bunch of, lovely people. They just want to picture that in their mind, even if it's not a full, maybe even if it's sort of generic information, but they want to picture what this job is going to look like and then be able to insert themselves into that picture. So, and hopefully they'll apply for your job. So, that's number 10. What else do we have, Holly? Okay. I want to also bring up the point that please participate in dietitiansalaries.com, an anonymous salary survey of dietitians. If you're a student, you can also participate. You just have a zero salary. I filter out for that. So, do participate in it. Currently, the average salary extrapolated out to a 40-hour work week is about $86,000 a year. So it is a little bit higher than what you see with the Academy's survey. And I think that could be self-selecting. People who are making a lot of money are going to participate in this. And you don't need to be a member of the Academy to participate in this. So there's over, what are we at now, Holly? Like, I think over 3,000 participants in the salary survey. It's very exciting. So I hope you can participate in that as well. And then I'm going to go back to Holly's services. So again, she's got this wonderful writing course that I have a copy of and I love it. And she's offering it to you for a hefty discount. Use the code TRENDS with a S 2026, all one word. So I'll put that in the show notes so that you guys can get that and link to that. Holly, anything else you want to add to talk to people about your course or about these trends or how they can work with you?
This is so much fun. I would love to welcome some new students in the course, people who are ready to learn writing in a way that feels fresh and feels authentic and helps to make a difference. And for anyone who would rather delegate that, I'm also a ghost copywriter for people who either don't have the skills or don't have the time or don't have the interest in writing. It is still important to have an online presence. We live in a virtual world in many ways. And so your website and your email sequences are all really important pieces of information and tools to help you connect with your ideal client.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. And you guys all know how to reach me, Stacy at Nutrition Jobs, and we've got lots of jobs for you. So everybody, thank you so much. Bye for now.